All right, we've got another episode of me showing you a little bit about mixing. One of the things, though, that I wanted to cover was structuring your mix. Now, it's one thing to go ahead and make things mix well together. Maybe you're doing intro, outro. Maybe you're doing phrase mixing. Doesn't really matter what's going on. But if you're going to if you're going to be in a real club, you're going to have to actually learn how to structure your mix. Otherwise, you are probably either going to be a fruit salad DJ, which plays everything whenever, however, and the energy's just going up and down. You could be a roller coaster DJ where you kind of amp it up and then you bring it back down. Some of the trance people, they like to bring the energy one level up and then one level down, depending on what they're feeling like. People like me, I usually go ahead and I look at what the bartender needs, or when we need to do a floor rotation. And by that, it means, you're not the only one that works at the club. There are bartenders are out there, there are chicks out there. Everybody's working to make this, work. And if you got them all on the dance floor and you can't get them off, the bartenders are going to be very angry with you, because they're not making any tips. We're all here to have fun. You got to look out for them like they look out for you. So one thing is also, if you're new to DJing, when you first get your first gig, you're probably going to be scared crapless. That's normal, but don't go out there swinging. I've noticed that with a lot of DJs. They'll go in there and just play all their bangers, and then by the time they're done, they either fatigue the ears too much, or you became white noise. You're playing the same crap over and over. So I'm not saying that your stuff is crap, but by the time you keep playing the same type of genre or whatever for an extended period of time, the ear gets used to it. It's like listening to the radio when you're on a long ride. You just get tired of it. It's the same garbage. Even though you may not be playing garbage, it will sound like garbage to our ear. You can actually accelerate this effect through listening to dubstep. If you listen to dubstep for any extended period of time, you're just like, what the heck am I listening to? I mean, you have to be high to listen to that stuff for more than 2 hours. I mean, it even hurts my ears. So, dubstep's not a bad genre. I use it, but I'm very, very easy on the ears. So don't abuse it. Yeah, that's a lot of signal that you're sending to those ears, and yeah, they may initially like it and go woohoo, but after about 10 minutes, you just sap them. And that's because of compression of the waves. So if you load up a track, which I'm going to go ahead here and show you on my little thing. Let's see. There we go. All right, so if you look on the track here, I got a bunch of different type of songs. So here, this one is Sick Bubblegum. That's a Skrillex remix. And then I've got I'm Into You, which is J-Lo, I believe. And then Pitbull, Let's Go Crazy. Now, if you're new to DJing, you'll probably go ahead and come out saying, "Well, I don't suck," and then you'll just play a banger, and then automatically you blew your load, and everybody now hates you at the end of the night. So I'd rather them grumbling at the beginning. Speaking of which, a quick tip: if the club or bar just opened, the first hour they're not going to dance. You don't want them to dance. You want them to get beered up and drink, and then you just play some relaxing, calming music, and you can coerce them later to get into the dance floor. Just because you're the DJ doesn't mean, oh my gosh, they all have to dance. Don't even think like that. You have to be the one under control. And so for that initial hour, you have to go ahead and find out what the team is or what the club is looking for. So you're going to be analyzing around, seeing what people like, maybe even have a couple of requests. Don't even mix if you have to. Just throw in requests. People like something, okay, whatever. So for that first hour, it's a feeler hour. They're going to get they're going to get to drinking, And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to search around different genres and seeing what the crowd likes. Maybe even take a couple of requests. Be a radio DJ. You don't have to be a mixer all of a sudden for the first hour. So try to get a good feel of the crowd. Next thing you do is after that first hour, okay, you kind of got an idea of what they want. And usually I would go ahead and I would try to start amping it up. But I would not go into my bangers and my secret weapons and my heaters. You know, that's for the encore of the night. So about an hour away from the end of your show, you're going to want to go ahead and throw out every banger, every heater that you're going to want to do. You may not want to, that's fine. I always leave the last hour for a cool down mix so that I don't have a bunch of fights at the end of a show. You don't want it gets annoying. So I mean, that's also another little tip. So all right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by energy, and then I'll elaborate. So here's one.
Miss Lopez. Hi, I'm Tune, the man on the moon. I live on.
Okay, so we got a little sample of that. Now let's go ahead and compare it with this.
Pitbull, Federico Franchi. Hey, let's do it again, baby. Let's do it. We gotta do it again. Let's make them go crazy this time. I don't think they ready, Chico. Hit it one time.
Latinas, they get crazy. Blanquitas, they get crazy. Negritas, they get crazy.
Okay. So we got that. Now let's listen to the third one. Okay, so there's a reason why I did that. These all have different intensities, different BPM, and different, they have different energies. Each one of these is very, very different. In the first one, this is something that I would probably play when I first got at the club. It's very low BPM. It's 84 BPM. It's very low key. It's very, very low tone. In fact, I'd probably even go lower than that. If I have a 4-hour set, this is a warm-up. This is beyond the first hour. So the first hour, you want it to be as low key as possible, unless you're taking requests. Just bounce around at the lowest BPM that you can go, because if you lower the BPM after you're from a high BPM, you're cooling the energy down. So this next one is one that I would play when everybody's already, I'm at the encore. I want people dancing. You're going to get out there and, show me some titty.
Yo, mama, she gets crazy. Latinas, they get crazy. Blanquitas, they get crazy. Negritas, they get crazy. Yo, mama, she gets crazy. Jump up, let's get crazy.
All right, so, by the way, if you don't have a debt guard, you might want to get one if you play this song. Beer gets spilled everywhere and drunk people. It's just crazy. So, you've got this one, which is an awesome banger, and then you've got your now, with this one, though, you can see on the waveform here that it's very, very compressed. If you look around, you could tell the difference between these waveforms. Right now, you can see that there's a little bit of a loud war that's going on. See how little headroom I have in here? This is very difficult to mix. Okay, there's a break here where I can mix out. I actually mark my breaks, but or you got this right here, which is just constant. I mean, you could tell how much musical notes are hitting the ears. You're just bombarding them, and this one's actually pretty shallow compared to some of the ones that I've seen, like VC Levels, Skrillex one. I think it's nothing but a solid bar of notes, and you're bombing their ears. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So Another thing that I would like to do or share with you is, okay, maybe you're a new DJ, you don't know how to do this. Well, you're going to have to question yourself, what style DJ are you? Are you the one that wants to ramp it up for an hour and then drop it, do a floor rotation? Or do you want to be the DJ that goes slow at the first start of the night and just slowly amps, and then to the end, then they start dancing? Or do you want to be a roller coaster, or a pitfall? It just depends on what you want to do. So, and this is part of being a DJ, is controlling what's going on. You're controlling the experience. All this is looking out at you. So I'm going to go over. I got a sheet of paper here to kind of show you how some techniques on how to amp it up. So what I would do is I'd get a sheet of paper here, and I'd figure out, okay, I'd have 4 hours, and I would want to kind of explore things. Maybe, actually, my first hour would probably be flat. And then I would slowly amp it up to the second hour, just nice and slow. By this time, it's probably around maybe 11 o'clock. And then by 12, I know I'm already in full bore gear. And then at 1 or 2, whatever time, the hour before is the last time you can do the bangers, because now you're gonna have to I would do a cool down. So when you're looking at this is how mine usually looks. I'm actually more, kind of like. Let me get this camera here going. So it would be hour 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I don't know if you can see that well. Hold on. I'm going to have to draw it in. But anyways, all right, so you're going over in the first hour. I mean, now you could do it any way you want. I'm just saying that here are the pitfalls if you avoid this. If you come out with bangers, you first start a party, and you're coming out with something like this. Okay, it's hard to increase the energy from that. Okay, it's very difficult. You could probably keep the same pace, and you can go around the Camelot wheel, and it will appear louder and louder and louder. However, it is very difficult to hold this up, because after a while, you bombarded those ears, and now they have ear fatigue. So if you want them to have a memorable night by the end, and instead of exhausting them, because their ears will be exhausted, and as a DJ, if you practice enough, I'm sure you've had exhausted ears. You're going to have to go over and start with lower waveforms, and then you slowly amp it up, and you use BPMs. You slowly increase the BPM. So you'll go from like 60 BPM, 70 BPM, 80 BPM, and then you'll start riding it up. Do not ever pass 120 BPM, except unless you're in your second hour. So if you're in the second hour, go to 120 BPM or up to 120 BPM. Hour 3, this is only if you have a 4-hour set. Hour 3 is your encore. They're drunk, 130, 140 BPM. 132, somewhere around there. There was a study on there that's the sound of when you bump uglies in the bedroom there. And then on hour 4, you're gonna have to drop this off. Now it's hard to go from encore to slowing it down. Now there's a couple of things you can do. You can let the outro go and then throw in some slow hip hop. Or something that wasn't as punchy. Or you can go ahead and use a Camelot wheel and then slowly go from the 130, 140 BPM and then go back around the Camelot wheel as you slow it down. So you're slowing it down maybe 5, 10 BPM, all right, so that they don't notice. But now all of a sudden they know that things are winding down. And at the very end, just play Hit the Road Jack or some other song. Basically signaling, get the hell out of the place. I need to go home. It's like 1, 2 a.m. So So you're going over, and your first hour, search around, see what the heck, they want. It depends on the venue. It's also a good idea to visit that venue a few times to see what the DJs are playing and what's normally there. That doesn't mean always do it, because the crowd's going to be different every time. One day they're going to want 80s, the next minute they're going to want hip-hop, the next minute they want trap. Another thing is, even though that the BPMs are slow on this at the very beginning for dubstep, you still have these waveforms. So I can find some dubstep songs that are about 60 BPM. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to kill their ears. All right, there's a lot of breaks in those slower dubstep songs, but you're still slowly taking up their patience before. You only have a limited amount of waveform that you can throw at them before they're just like, you know what, this is just noise. So as far as the energy goes, one thing is in points of a song, you'll notice that there's some, like a break. I've already talked about phrasing. If you don't know about keys or phrasing or BPM, please check my other lessons. But during a break, you lose energy. You see how it went from all that music and then it just went to a break. You lost energy that way. Now you could pick up that energy by mixing before it hits that break, or you can use that break and then insert another break or something else. The creativity is yours, but I'll let you know that is a energy dropper. So if you have got the crowd moving and you want to hold on to them, try to avoid breaks. I hate breaks. I want to just keep amping and amping and amping it until I'm done with it, and then they get a break. So if you really want to keep a nonstop 15, 20, 30-minute go with the dance floor and everybody's just going crazy, try to avoid breaks. So sometimes I'll take a break, and instead of having a break, I'll go into the chorus of another song or maybe a build-up. So right when it goes into the break, even though there is kind of like a mini break there where they know something different's going on, you throw in that build up, and now it's building from the break. Or you can avoid the break entirely, and then right when the break is supposed to start, you're already into the drop of another song. So that's pretty much all I've got for this lesson. It's not a lot of mixing or anything like that. Just keep well aware of the listeners and what they're doing and the BPM. Oh, one more thing. As you get to the peak finale, let's say you've got maybe 15 minutes left to go, I like to go over and power mix. So I'll start at the very beginning and go intro to outro. Intro to outro. Don't really care. Just go intro to outro. You're just kind of finding out what's going on. Then, during the second hour, I'll go over and usually mix during breaks. I'll loop. I'll do some funky stuff. It just depends on what I'm doing. Then in hour 3, and I know that I'm already hyping up the crowd, I start mixing faster and faster and faster because they're going to have ADD. So it's good to go over and set a baseline of you are a dull, boring DJ that sucks for the first hour, and unless it's the first time they've heard you. I hope you've casted. But go ahead, and people are going to hate it. They're going to hate it. They're going to be like, well, can't you play something else, or can't you play this, or... and that's cool because you want to know exactly kind of what all is going around. Although don't be afraid to not play something like "Call Me Maybe." That's a floor killer. You'll probably get cut after your show. So you can avoid certain things. Just politely say, "Hey, I don't have the song. It's not worth the tip." I mean, clearing the floor is not worth the tip. So, anyways, I was talking about mixing faster and faster. Anyway. So it's cool to go ahead and start really, really slow, then mix a little faster, get a little funkier with it. A lot of things are to be unique. You don't want to be the same old boring DJ, so you're going to want to capture their interest. If you can't convince them by the first hour that you're interesting to listen to, not that you can get them to dance, but you're interested, you're interesting to listen to. Play interesting stuff. Then hour 2 and hour 3 are going to go like hotcakes. You've already got them under the spell. They're listening to you. You've got it. Just don't mess up and don't drop the key unless they're drunk. So on the second one, just try to be solid. Third one, all right, things get rowdy, people bump into you, but and then the fourth one, it doesn't really matter. Throw in oldies if you want to. A lot of people like that on the last one. They like the nostalgia crap. So anyways, hope that helps you, and good luck.